Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
It is now time for the live broadcast of the NAACP with Gwinnett, Westbrook, and Mr. Dumas.
And good evening and welcome to another segment of the NAACP Truth Show. I'm Willie Dumas, your host. Certainly happy you could join us today. Hope you had a great weekend over the weekend. Certainly had a sunny weekend. Temperatures all across the country in triple digits, and it was no different here in Macon with the heat index. And so hope you stayed safe and taking care of yourself over a busy weekend. Also hope your Monday has started out as a great one. This past weekend, I had the opportunity to meet our next guest, our guest that we have today, and that's Mr. James. I'm going to let Mr. Brown talk to you about what he and his wife is involved in, the ministry that they provide to our community. I was very happy to learn that he's a veteran also, like myself. And one thing about veterans, we know the power of serving. And we're going to bring him on and just see what they're involved in and how they're helping our community stay safe. Mr. Brown, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm right here.
Well, certainly happy to see you again, sir. We just broke a little bread,
Yes,
had a little talk over the weekend, and I was just fascinated by the service that you and your wife provide. So if you would, go ahead and tell our listening audience the name of your ministry and the service that you guys provide.
Okay, well, my wife is, in the nursing field for over 25 years, and she's so giving and helpful that she just want to help everybody she can. So it started out, she wanted to make soup and sandwiches and home-cooked meal for some of the homeless that be hanging around under the bridge or down at the store. And so we started doing that, and, it was the most liberating thing we ever did. So we decided to go ahead and start a nonprofit called Angela's Anointed Angels. It's named after her. And in doing so, we had we rented a building because we wanted to have a community resource center. Because we feel like if you can help the homeless from get stabilization, from homelessness to stabilization, by helping them to get ID, Social Security, they qualify, disability, mental health treatment, public housing, and food stamp. But we could do that, then we could take them off the street. So that was our goal. So we had the Community Resource Center and, trying to fund everything ourselves. So we kind of fell by the wayside because we got to take care of us first. If we don't take care of us, we can't take care of nobody else. So we had to let the center go. But we still hoping that one day we can get it back because we had a food bank and a clothing bank as well. And so we're always doing different projects to help the community. So, about a couple of weeks ago, when the temperatures, the whole week, it was like 100-degree weather.
Absolutely.
And we see these homeless out there, they sweating, and if you give them $1, they're going to go, water costs $1.29, cold beer costs $1. You give them $1, they're not going to buy a bottle of water. So we feel like we can, not just a bottle of water, some cold water. We felt like if we can provide them and keep them hydrated, because that heat is dangerous out there.
Yes,
And
sir.
so we developed the operation called Operation Summer Hydration. And I got to admit, it is working awesome because they starting to look forward to seeing our van pull up now. What we do, we know a lot of places where the homeless hang out, where they frequent. And so we ride up through them places and we get out we got 2 coolers full of cold ice water in the trunk. And we try to give them 2-3 bottles apiece. And we ride all over the city doing the same thing. And and it's awesome. And now I'm starting to see that, not just water. They was like, well, you got some chicken? I'm like, well, it made me want to go to Publix and buy a 50-piece box so me and my wife could just set it up and give it out. But right now, we're not in the best position financially to just give, even though we want to, because we got to take care of ourselves, and that's where it all started. And I want to say this to you though. Yesterday after we finished breaking bread, I had my little crew with me, had
Oh
my
yeah.
two grandkids. Oh, we had an awesome time. We went straight. I had put ice on the water before we came there. We went straight to work. I mean, they was awesome. My
Wow.
grandkids, I didn't even have to get out of the trunk. They were jumping out with 2 bottles in each hand, and it was awesome. So we had a great time yesterday hydrating the homeless.
Well, one of the things I wanted to mention, particularly to our listening audience, those of you who follow the news, there was a homeless individual that they found dead this morning or late yesterday
Oh,
evening at the right there where 16 and 75 split. And according to the coroner, this person died of natural causes. But when you look at the heat index and the high temperatures we've been experiencing here in the last couple of weeks or so, it's no wonder that someone in a homeless type situation could find themselves, fainting or just falling out from a heat stroke, with these
wow.
high temperatures. And so we really applaud the efforts that you and your wife have taken to go out and to serve and to see the needs of our homeless community, because we do know in the last couple of weeks or so, or maybe even a month ago, some of the places where they frequent, where a lot of our homeless frequent, the city has torn those areas down because of blight and those kinds of things. But it has interrupted pretty much, I guess, the homeless community, if you would, as far as
Yeah.
places they can go. And so, have you noticed through your ministry? You said that a lot of them kind of look forward to you guys coming. So, have you noticed certain areas where a lot of homeless people kind of frequent?
Yes, like you were saying, the place where the old bus station at, and
Yeah,
behind Burger King over there, that's where they we used to go down there. Usually be about 25 to 50 of them living down there. They had tents and makeshift little houses they constructed, and so we used to go down there and take plates. On a Sunday, we cook Sunday dinner, have about 25, 30 plates, and take them down there and give them to them. And and that's one of the main areas that we used to go, because we know a lot of them always be there. So we having to try to figure out where they're at. Most of them been displaced. I noticed I saw some wood line over by Riverside where a bicycle was out there, and I think some of them back in the woods over there. So we're trying to relocate them and try to help them out where we can. And see, that's the reason why we want to try to get this community resource center, because if we can get them in there and make sure they got a proper ID and process them and try to get them the help they need, because a lot of them need mental health treatment.
absolutely.
So in substance abuse treatment. And River Edge, we're partnering with River Edge and places like that. And then we partner with the Middle Georgia Food Bank so that we can be able to get the food we need. And the clothes is gonna be simple, because my family, we probably can provide all our old clothes ourselves. I know I got a basket back there with 25 pair of shoes I'm waiting to give away, but I just can't drop them off at one of those spots because I don't want them fighting over a pair of Jordans.
Absolutely.
They be like, so, and then my kids, they got children where we can cover all areas of clothing, and a lot of people are so willing to give away clothes because everybody got clothes that they can give away.
Right. Now, one of the things that I'd like to mention, can you mention to our listening audience how they can help you in your efforts? A lot of times people who hear about certain things, certain needs, they want to help. And how can they actually help or contact you guys to provide some help?
Okay, well, we got well, the business has a email address, which is Angela Anointed Angels Inc. 23 at gmail.com. And my email is jamesbrown00980 at yahoo.com. And my wife is A Reeves, AREEAVES at yahoo.com. And we have a cash app as hashtag poetic experience that if they want to donate. What we've been telling people in the general area, this is not just something that we alone can do. This can actually be a movement. And like you said, I feel bad about that person that passed away because I'm sitting up here thinking, was that one of the one that we gave a bottle of water to yesterday, or did he not get a bottle of water? And so, what we telling the public, if you know somewhere, because we can't be everywhere at the same time. Like we're over on the east side, over in Bloomfield, I'm quite sure they may have some homeless here and there where people know about. Everybody can join in and keep a cooler full of water in your trunk. And you know
Absolutely.
people, and you drive by them, and you know they asking for money. Just give them a bottle of water because the spirit let me know yesterday. Say I'm looking at it like a bottle of water is really not too much. And then the spirit say if you was in the desert and you had a choice to get $100 bill or a bottle of water, which one would you take? And I'm like, well, with the $100 bill, I probably die with it in my hand. But that
Correct.
bottle of water actually saved my life. So that let me know how important and vital water really is.
Right, and you made a very valid point because most people don't really know the importance of water, even as it relates to when there's not really high temperatures, but just drinking water daily, the
Right.
effects that it has on the body. And so, a lot of the ailments that many of us suffer is from the lack of hydration and the lack of getting water. So, what you guys are providing is useful information, helpful information to sustain, individuals. I like to read something you gave me to the listening audience that kind of gives them an idea of the importance of what you guys are doing. It says, everything that lives needs water to continue to exist. And it says this includes plants as well as humans. It's unthinkable to acknowledge that we have people in our city who can't afford a bottle of water. For that reason, we have developed Operation Summer Hydration to be able to help keep the homeless population hydrated during this expected hot summer. If you know where a colony of homeless people simply drop off a case of water for their convenience, you can even buy an inexpensive cooler and fill it with ice and water, and you have no idea how much it will be appreciated. And that's a very true statement in that sometimes people don't know what's really best for them,
Right.
and a lot of times, as you mentioned, with the homeless, there's so many different things that they need. They're
Right.
looking at shelter. They're looking at clothing, and sometimes they forget those other necessities in life, like water and other things that hygiene. I notice also in your flyer that you guys provide hygiene products when necessary,
Yes.
toothpaste and toothbrushes and things of that nature, which are very important. And so you guys have really taken time to kind of look at the needs of a lot of homeless individuals. And I think East Macon and other parts of the community will really benefit from that.
Thanks. Yeah.
So one of the other things too, you are also a veteran. We got an opportunity to talk a little bit about that. And as a veteran, certainly you know the importance of serving. You served
Yeah.
your country in the Army, I believe it was,
Yes,
and
sir.
and I've served in the Air Force. And so we know the importance of serving others. A lot of times, when people see us now as veterans, they say, thank you for your service. And
Yes.
uh, now we're on a whole different type of service. You are, and particularly in serving the people in your community. And, a lot of kudos should go to you and other veterans who have taken on various tasks within their community to continue serving. Um, because I know from a biblical standpoint, when Jesus came, he came to serve. And so,
That's
we're doing the same thing by providing things that we know others can't provide for themselves.
yes, sir.
And
Totally.
so, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing my wife is she's been working on, she's done started a little group. She's always so busy. A woman empowerment group that she's trying to get to help her supply some things. She's got an event, a homeless festival planned
Wow.
around Thanksgiving. And in that festival, we're gonna quite natural. We're gonna have all the food that they can use. Then we're gonna have our water. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna have tables out there with shoes and clothes and then care packages and we want to encourage the community. If you can bring it, if anybody's invited to bring a table out there with their old clothes, and then they can meet and greet, and then give away and help us with this event. Because they need so much, like you say, they need so much. I don't know when where it's going to end, but it's just getting worse. That's why we want to try to bring them from homelessness to stabilization, but they need so much help, and we need so much help in doing that because we just can't do everything by ourselves. We know that, but we're gonna do what we can do. And my thing is, if we can change one person's life, we can actually charter the course of their whole generation. If we take one homeless off the street and make them stable, that means the whole generation after that may become stable.
And you brought up a valid point too. I think a lot of times when people think about homeless individuals, they think mainly about adults. But I've had Sister Teresa, who's a good friend of mine, on the show. She's the director over at Daybreak, and one of the things she shared with me many times is the fact that a lot of these homeless individuals have children. And
Right,
if the parents are homeless, then that makes the children homeless as well. And so
right,
you've got a lot of needs for our younger folk that are homeless, and a lot of
right,
times you don't see them. You don't see those homeless youth on the streets. But if you go to your local Salvation Armies or you go to your Goodwill places, you'll see a lot of these younger individuals who are mostly in school when school is in during the daytime, but at nighttime they have to congregate with their parents wherever they are. And in many cases, that's a homeless type environment. So, do you see a need as far as providing different things to homeless youth? I know a lot of churches all across the city, and on next week we'll be giving out school supplies, and some have already started doing so. But I believe that in many cases they don't think about the homeless children that also need those very same supplies, and sometimes it's very difficult for them to come to an event per se if it's outside so many miles outside of where they are residing at that time. And so that's another, I think, area that we've fallen short on is providing things for homeless youth.
right. And I'm glad you said that because two of the main areas that we like to focus on is homeless youth and homeless veterans.
Wow.
The veterans that served the country and they done came back and then find themselves in a homeless situation and now they need somebody to serve them and help them out. And the youth, a lot of them are homeless not on their own. They're homeless because of their situation, like with their parents or whatever. And then some of them may be in a situation where their parents or don't care, don't provide, and they run away from home and find themselves out there homeless. Or some of the parents maybe even put them out and they find themselves homeless. So those two categories, the homeless youth and the homeless vet, we particularly like to focus on that. And we project in the future we'll be in a situation where here in Macon we got a lot of old hotels that has closed down and stuff. And my wife actually enrolled me into a how to write grant proposal class. So she
Wow.
made me go to school for how to write grant proposals. So I'm actually a grant writer, and hopefully I'll be trying to write a grant so we can secure some of that old empty property and go ahead and set it up to where they can come in there and have maybe stay, give them about 3 to 6 months to get on their feet while we help them get all the credentials that they need and the mental health treatment and showers and that's where we're going. I see that as long term, but it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of finance to get to those points.
Well, at least you're planning. If you don't plan, usually you plan to fail. And so
That's right.
the mere fact that you guys are planning for these types of things in the future just shows your commitment to what you're doing. And so we applaud you for that. Also, as it relates to when we look at the record temperatures all across the country, I was just watching on the news the wildfires that are in California right now, and how they are just destroying property, and so many people losing their homes, and many losing their lives because of the climate change. And I think we have a different Georgia now as it relates to temperatures. We were used to certain temperatures in certain months. When
Right.
you get in February, you think it's going to be cold, but it seems like the months are getting warmer.
Yeah.
When we start looking at August, and how the temperatures are probably going to change, more intensely, it's going to really necessary for people to stay hydrated. Um,
Right.
we know if it's a problem for us to stay hydrated and we have access to water in our homes every day, a person out on the streets, who are out in the elements and back and forth, they certainly would need, that access to hydration.
Yes. You're right. So that's why we got to stay in the trenches. I mean, hopefully, I mean, our family, me, I can, all my grandkids and the kids, and they're all on board. We good in the trenches, but if the whole city get on board, and then I mean everybody, it's not something that it's something that we thought of, the operation that we created, but everybody can take part because it's not ours. And we're serving the people of God. That's all. And there's nothing more liberating. I mean, there's nothing more liberating to see how somebody appreciate a bottle of water. Matter of
Uh,
fact, we usually don't like taking pictures because we don't want to put the homeless on the spot. But Macon Water Authority, when they invited us to the water treatment facility, and they gave us 200 bottles. They said it's the best water in North America.
wow.
And it said it's been tested and went up against other cities' water, other state water, and it came out the best of the best. So we try to encourage people to make sure that they get the best of the best. I mean, the
Absolutely.
water is the best.
Matter of fact, you shared a bottle with me, over the weekend, and yeah, it was really good tasting water. No aftertaste and that kind of thing. And so it's a proud moment for Bibb County, knowing that we have some of the best tasting water in America.
Yes,
And a lot of times, we don't drink it. We pass up the tap water and we go buy another form of bottled water.
right,
And I think it would be to the water authorities of advantage if they could provide more of that water on the shelves so that
right.
let
It's
people know.
not for sale. It's not in stores.
Right. And
So we get some of the best water in the nation right now.
right, and we're passing up our water for Desante and
Right,
some of
right,
these other brands, Aquafina and all of those brands, when we've got the best right here. It's
right.
just like in the Bible it says, prophet has no honor in his own hometown. I think a
That's
lot of
right.
we've got the best water right here, and we're not taking advantage of it.
Right.
Well, I certainly appreciate you coming on and talking to our listening audience and providing the service that you guys are providing to our community. Our homeless population, as you mentioned, is a makeup of so many different people, from veterans to people that have thrived in the community for some time and by whatever means have fallen short in some way and found themselves homeless. And so when we can provide these types of services, it's a gem. And I see President Westbrooks has joined us. President Westbrooks, Mr. Brown, I've been sharing with us on his project, he and his wife, with hydration.
Right. I've been listening to him. I've actually been on for a minute now. I guess you all couldn't hear me.
Right,
So
we couldn't.
yeah.
No.
And we appreciate everything that you're doing. I just wanted to add right quickly. So often times men are often left out when it comes to the homelessness, because when women have children, there are so many resources out there for
Right.
women with children. They're able to basically get help in housing quicker than our males. So that's something that I kind of wanted to elaborate on just a little bit, because I do know that in past experiences they have different, a lot of people are not familiar with the resources, but in past experience with us helping some people that were became homeless because of the property that they lived on, where the county condemned the property. We were, saw that a lot of females with children were able to get assistance, just, so quickly. And the men are often not able to get the assistance that they need, because, especially when it comes to housing, because they don't have any children. So
Right.
they do look at that. But we really want to thank you for everything that you do, because we do know that homeless is very real, and we do have people, sometimes people are put in situations not of their own.
Right.
And so we just want to thank you for everything that you're doing to make sure that people have a somewhere, especially with it being hot as it is, somewhere cool
Yeah.
to stay in. But we appreciate everything that you're doing.
Yeah, I got my water here.
But yeah,
But
I appreciate.
we need to create a resource list, and that's something that I think we did have on our page at one time on our website, a resource list, and we just got to get that back up, because there are a lot of places that we just, mostly us, we're not aware of the different things that's out there that's available, to us.
You're right. You're right. And that's where the community resource center come in. Me and my wife, we both got college degrees, and I got one in human services and psychology, and she got psychology also. So we learn how to get the resources, like partner with River Edge, partner with all these different places that provide resources. One of the main thing is, if they can get ID, because a lot of people come from different states and they just settle here and they don't have ID or nothing, and it's
Right.
impossible to get resources without identification. That's one of the first things that we like to focus on. And we do try to partner with Daybreak and these other Fishes and Low.
Right.
We want to try to do some of the things that they do. They're on a real big scale, and we admire that. So there can never be enough resource centers. So we gonna continue to strive and mark, and based on how they do and what they do, we're gonna pretty much provide the same type of services.
All right. Well, we've run out of time, but certainly happy you joined us.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor.
Absolutely. Well, until next time, this is Willie Dumas, your host, along with President Westbrook. And we'll see you next week on the NAACP Truth Show. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
You have been listening to the live broadcast of the NAACP with Gwinnett Westbrook and Mr. Dumas. Come join us next Monday at 4 o'clock p.m. on 980 WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Any praises out there? One more time. Let me see you. Come on. Hey. Keep them hands up. Let me see you. What about the praises up there in the balcony? Come on. Let's make it real big. Come on. Here we go. Come on, BRL. Work them. Come on. Let me see you. Chicago, make some noise if you know God is good. Come on, let's celebrate. Here we go. One. Bread of life, Savior, Redeemer. You are wonderful Counselor, Holy One. Bread of life, Savior, Redeemer. You are wonderful Counselor, Holy One. Jehovah Jireh, Elohim. You are High Priest and there of all living things. Jehovah Jireh, Elohim. You are High Priest and there of all living things. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Lord, you are. Resurrected Son and righteous one. Mighty strong tower, beloved one. I see you, Bishop. Resurrected Son and righteous one. You are mighty strong tower, beloved one. Famous God of the world and the earth. King of kings, but of true royalty. Famous God of the world and the earth. You are King of kings, but of true royalty. Come on, let me hear you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Lord, we worship you not just for what you've done, but Lord, we worship you just for who you are. Any worshipers out there? Let me see you lift your hands. Let's worship him. Hallelujah. We worship you, God. We worship you in spirit and in truth. Lord, we worship.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
When it comes to safety, I'm gonna take care of mine. I wanna take my son to school and not worry about if he gonna make it home or not. I want my grandma and them to go to the grocery store without worrying that someone with a gun will end their lives in the freezer section. I own a gun, and I support the Second Amendment rights. But what we can't do is make it easier for the most dangerous people in our community across Georgia to carry them in public. And who holds the power to do that? Our governor, Brian Kemp. Brian Kemp just signed a law that makes it easier for the most dangerous people in our communities to carry a concealed handgun without a permit or a background check. 11,000 people were denied license to carry permits by the state of Georgia over 3 years. And Brian Kemp's new law will make it harder to stop dangerous people like them from carrying their guns in public. Georgia is already 9th in the nation for gun violence. This law will make things way worse. And y'all remember when he pointed the gun directly at the teenage boy on TV just to get elected? Y'all think they'll let a black man do that? Nah. Brian Kemp is too dangerous to be governor of Georgia. For real, for real. I know what I'm doing this November. I'm getting Brian Kemp up out of there, and I'm voting for Stacey Abrams. Paid for by One Georgia and approved by Abrams for
Glover Memorial Mortuary, located at 3241 Houston Avenue in South Macon, serving you and those you love with a personal touch is their motto for service. Sympathy, understanding, compassion, patience, and discounts available to lighten your financial burden. Dr. Walter Glover and staff are here to serve you and your family with a personal touch. They specialize in pre-need arrangements,